Yo, let's hurry up. I forgot I was supposed to talk to y'all. R&B over there, she been distracting me, saying things, doing things. Get up! Rakita! Check this out. We're gonna run a short but brief one, but a serious one. I think this room is based around why did Suge Knight punk Tupac. Yep, sometimes some things be right in front of y'all face, and y'all don't pay attention to it. Why did Suge Knight punk Tupac? What? How did Suge Knight punk Tupac? Let's get the notifications up, thumbs up, hit the goddamn subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna get to dropping no knowledge until the people get in the building. Let your people tell the people. Tell some other people that they peoples, Whack 100, is here to talk to the people. Now, y'all can always catch me on the 100 side of Clubhouse. Or follow me on my Instagram page, _ the 100 show. Or if you really want to get my attention and you got some business, follow the queen, R_ANN_B. Send her a DM about what you need and we can get something going on. To all you YouTubers, underground rappers, trying to get some shine on your name, trying to get your following up, trying to get that monetization going on, right? Trying to get the subscribers up. Me and Flacco doing the You've Been Exposed package for a stack, a measly stack. Comes with an interview with me on Clubhouse, interview on the 100 show one-on-one, and then me and Flacco shares your link when he says, click the link right here, right? And then me and Flacco shares the link or two on our IG stories. So you can find that application to fill out on the 100 show IG. In the bio, it's at top, fill it out. R&B is see it, grab it, schedule you, and we'll get going. Shout out to Clubhouse Shenanigans. Shout out to Ray Gibbs TV. Shout out to Clubhouse TV. Shout out to The Answer. That's the 100 Show media team from the Clubhouse app. Y'all go over there and check them out right there on the blocks and corners of YouTube. They got some great content, packing up, running it up, me telling people shut the up, and there's all kind of other ups going on. But let's get the people in here. A lot of us didn't heard and listened to the Death Row stories, and a lot of people just kind of overlook it. Maybe they don't think about it, but dang, why did Suge Knight punk Tupac? And if Tupac would have stood his ground, he might still be alive. Let's talk about it. We ain't gonna talk about what happened on Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm gonna talk about things that could have occurred that might have eliminated him being on Las Vegas Boulevard. We're not gonna talk about Suge doing football moves and holding people. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's kind of obvious. But what we are gonna talk about is why did Suge Knight punk Tupac? That's the question. Whack, what do you mean? Well, I'm gonna slow it down and I'm gonna educate you guys. When a rapper signs a deal, and let's say he signs a 3-album deal, right? For $5 million, right? And let's say after he turns in these albums, he still owes $2 million or $3 million, right? The contract doesn't say you have to stay in this deal until the money made back. That's not how it works. I'm gonna tell you why. In that deal, and I'm just gonna use 50% because that's an easy number for people to keep up with. In this deal, let's say Death Row, which is Suge Knight, and Tupac had a 50-50 deal. Let's just say that, right? So Death Row's already given Tupac proceeds, giving him money, advances, paying for things. And he may give him more money. He might run out of money. He may need to hold on to 200,000, 100,000. He might just need to do that. Cool. But once he's turned in all his albums, regardless of what he owes, the only thing that happens is the 50%, whatever number that 50% represents, because it could be 50% of 100% or 50% of 50%, which then represents 25%. But that 50% number that goes to artists, when that artist leaves and the royalties keep coming in from the album selling and whatever's going on, what happens is that artist just doesn't receive any of those residuals or proceeds. Death Row will keep collecting its entirety until it recoups the full 5 million. So once it recouped, then the artist will then receive their cut of the 50%. So if $5 million is owed, and let's say Tupac ran up the bill to another 4 million. I need $1 million. I need this. Fly this chick out. I need a chain. I need whatever it is. And Suge was doing this and saying, you have to pay me this back. When the artist then turned in his last album, them books ain't got to be at 0. His album count just got to be at 0. The only thing that's supposed to happen is when the revenue comes in, the artist just won't get his cut until the label has fully recouped its money, right? So if 9 million's old, 5 million for the budget, and let's say 4 million, he didn't gave me miscellaneous money. And 10 million comes in over 2 years. As the money coming in, 1 million, artists don't see nothing. 2 million, artists don't see nothing. 3 million, artists don't see nothing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 million, artists don't see nothing. 9 million, artists don't see nothing. 10 million, artists get his 50% cut of that 1 million. That's over the 9. This is how that works, right? So now that I broke that down, let's go back to the story. The story is Tupac comes in, says, yo, I turned in my 3 albums. I want to start my own company, do my own thing. Suge say, yeah, you turned in your 3 albums, but what about this? What about all this money that I didn't gave you outside of the albums? Nah, you can't go nowhere. And then bullies him into saying, we're going to start Death Row East and you going to run that. But Wack, how is that bullying? He said he going to let him run Death Row East. I'm going to tell you how that's bullying. What Interscope was to Suge, the mother company, Suge wanted to be to Death Row East. So that meant Suge hands is still in the cookie jar. You see the bully? How he punked him? See, if Pac would have just left and started Thug Life Entertainment or Machiavelli Entertainment, now Pac sits in the position of Suge. And Pac could go to Universal or Sony or wherever he wants to go and do his own deals and be in control of the budget and be the head man at that table. Suge wasn't going for that. He's saying, I'm going to keep you under me. I'm going to let you run Death Row East. So, Wack, how does that break down? Let's talk about it. The best case scenario is Suge Knight says, me, Death Row, will finance Death Row East. It'll be Death Row and Death Row East. That means 100% will start with Suge, right? And when they cut up, let's say we gonna do 50-50, Pac. That means Death Row, Mother Company, 50%, Tupac, Death Row East, 50%. This is how this would have worked. I need $10 million in budgets. Death Row would have to release that to Death Row East, right? Now, they have to pay Pac as an employee because it ain't his company. He just working for the company, right? So now, Pac goes and starts signing artists. Pac say, I'm gonna show him love, I'm gonna give him 50%. Well, it's really not 50%, it's 50% of his 50%, which is really 25% to the artist. That's the best case scenario. Let's talk about the worst case scenario. Let's say Suge goes back to Interscope and said, hey, Mr. Iovine, Pac has this wonderful thing. Well, we got a problem. Pac wants to leave, start his own company. But I have convinced him into staying and running Death Row East. But I need the money from you, Mr. Iovine. How much money you need, Suge? Suge say 15 million. You say that, right? All right, Suge, I can give you 12.5 million. That'll work. He go back to Pac, tell Pac, hey, Pac, I got the 10 million to prove. He gonna keep the 2.5 in his pocket on that side that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And then he'll say, Pac, you got 10 million to work with. So now what just happened? Suge got a 50% deal with Jimmy Iovine. So now he got 50%. Now he's doing a 50% deal with Tupac, which is really 25% to Pac. So when Death Row East does a 50% deal with the artist, now it's 50% of the 25%, which is 12.5%. See, Pac hadn't even thought that out. He was gonna run into a brick wall regardless. Because at some point in time, them artists that might have went big was gonna start to thinking, hey, bro, why am I only making 12.5% off the bag? Well, because Death Row East is up under Death Row, and Death Row is up under Interscope. So the 100% number no longer starts with Death Row, it starts with Interscope, and then it starts to get chopped down. So, Whack, how did Suge punk Tupac? When Tupac told him, I turned in my 3 albums, I'm about to go my way, I'm about to start my own label, and Suge opened that book and said, no, you still owe me, right then is where he punked him. Because even if he owed him, he wasn't supposed to do nothing but collect and keep all residuals until he recouped what he owed him. That wasn't supposed to stop him from leaving the label and starting his own label. So he forced him to stay there up under Death Row. Now, if Tupac would have left, it's a good chance Tupac would have been in Vegas under a Thug Life or a Machiavelli function. And if he would have been in Vegas under a Thug Life and a Machiavelli function, it's a good chance he would have been standing there with the Death Row dudes. If he wouldn't have been standing there with the Death Row dudes, he wouldn't have been participating or he wouldn't have started the fight with Orlando. If you don't start the fight or participate in the attack of Orlando, there's never no hostilities or no get back being pointed at you on Las Vegas Boulevard. Now, I'm going to look to the chat. If I was talking too fast on the breakdown of the business, anybody have any questions, I'll answer them, as long as the questions make sense. Again, we're talking about this. Don't ask me about no jumper. Talk to me about no jumper when I'm on no jumper. Lua Cruz, if you saying I'm saying a whole lot of nothing, that just means you can't comprehend. So I'm going to do you like they did us in kindergarten. You on timeout. Go in the corner. Okay. You don't have to be there to know. I know the breakdown of the business. We all know what Pac wanted to do, and we all know what Suge didn't allow him to do. Suge didn't punk Tupac in a simple way, but he did use power, influence, and loyalty to steer Pac's direction. Sometimes for Suge, something for Suge's benefit more than Pac's. No, nigga. He punked him, forced him, and intimidated him and made him an offer he couldn't refuse, right? If he did, he probably thought something else was going to happen. Why was everybody scared of Suge? I don't believe they were scared of Suge. I believe they were scared of the people around Suge and the decision that Suge might make to influence those people around him. About the whole death row, Tupac. Give me some real questions, man. Ends using the S word, start a channel and make one video saying how you feel. Go outside. That's all you got to do. I don't know what you're talking about. I think if Pac wouldn't have had died, he would have found a way to separate from Suge. He was trying to, but he got muscled and pressed. Hey, yo, listen. Let me see if some of you guys go keep it real. Shout out to the super chat, my man Trucker 100 ENT. Okay, fellas, ladies, I want y'all to keep it real in the chat, fellas. Fellas, I'm definitely guilty of this. How many of your girls told you, I'm leaving, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm sick of your shit, I'm done, I'm going to my mama house, I'll start over, it's over with. And you stood in front of that door and said you ain't going nowhere. Huh? Huh? Okay. That's what Suge did to Pac. Now, I'm hoping he didn't rub his face the way we do when we be trying to talk to him. I hope he ain't did that. I don't think he did that. But look, Mackenzie James, I did that a few times. See, you keeping it real, right? Whack, I said Pac was owed $12 million by October 96. I don't know what the books were. I can't speak on what was made, what wasn't made. I don't know. That's just an audit. Get what I'm saying? I saw a Mexican slap you in the casino one night. Boy, y'all be having all kind of whack sightings. That's kidnap. You don't let her leave. Nah, kidnap is when you force somebody against their will to move more than 15 feet. Not letting her leave because you talking to her for 15 minutes ain't kidnap. Now, if she start fighting you to get out the door and you prevent her from doing so, then there's something going on. All right. Shout out to the super chat, Lord Rio. Did Suge really understand the residual breakdown? His financial people understood it. Of course he understood it. Believe that. Can you teach the people and understand why a fade is not a crime? A fade is a crime if both parties don't agree. Word around the street, Suge knocked you out. Suge has never put his hands on me. With Suge and Reggie Wright Jr. in cahoots against Tupac. Reggie Wright was security for Death Row, not just Tupac. Tupac had his own signed security, I'm assuming, but Reggie Wright, I believe, ran Right Way Protection Services or something like that. Right Way, something like that. So I've never known Reggie to be in cahoots against Tupac. That's just stupid. Tupac is the king of hip hop. Nobody did their job like him, programming masses. No, it's got a lot of people bigger than Tupac. Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Drake. Um, it's a lot of people, just to name a few, just bigger than Tupac. Kendrick Lamar, you know. People that sold a lot of albums, did a lot of tours. I don't even know if Tupac toured like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people. Shout out Whack 100, always got the content. What's your beef with Pac? I don't have no beef with Pac. We're just bro. See, if I come on here and talk about Donald Trump, y'all don't say I'm beefing. If I come on here and talk about Shannon Sharp, y'all don't say I'm beefing. It's just content. I can talk about these things because other people can't. A lot of these little gangbang podcasters, they restricted to one lane. Who did what and who had what squab and who did the backflip and who got the tattoo on their face and who did the diss song and Lil Pumpernickel Nim was at the port and he called Lil Butterscotch out. Yeah, that's, you know, a lot of these niggas is restricted to that. I'm just having a conversation about something real. Suge Knight, whole thing was, Pac, you can't leave because you owe me money. You cannot hold an artist because they owe you money. You can hold an artist if they owe you projects or albums. Money that's owed, you are supposed to collect as the residuals come in, and when you break even, then the artist gets his cut. In the meantime, between time, as long as you are in the negative, if 1 million come in, you keep the million. 1 million come in, 3 million old, you keep the million. 2 million's old. 500 come in, you keep the 500. 1.5 is old. 750 come in, you keep the 750. 750 is old. 250 come in, you keep it. 500 is old. 1 million come in, you keep the 500. You give the artist the 50% of the remaining 500 because you have fully recouped. Now you're in the plus. So there was never a time where Tupac should have been forced to stay on the road and saying, nah, you gonna run Death Row East because you owe me 4 million. No, if I owe you 4 million, you gonna keep all the residuals that come in until you get your 4 million, and I just don't get none of the residuals until you recoup. But Pac should have left and went and got him a deal with Sony or whoever, Universal, and became his own boss, his own CEO, signed acts under him. He would have been under a total different movement, sitting in a total different section to watch the Mike Tyson fight, probably in a total different area, and would have never seen Orlando. That would have never happened, and he would have never been the target of the get back, and he would have never been on the line, sitting there while old boy held him like a football bag. Ha! While he tried to escape it. Ha! It's just real talk. He punked him to stay. And if you speak to anybody in the music industry, they're going to tell you, you cannot hold an artist after he turns in all his albums, fulfill all his video obligations, and does all that just because you're still owed money. Let's get those thumbs up and those subscriptions. Subscribe, thumbs up. Appreciate that. We had 100 thumbs up. We got 854 people in here. I'm going to go back to the chat and see what's going on. In the meantime, you all go follow underscore the 100 show. Go follow R underscore ANN underscore B. Go follow Christopher Lovejoy. He got a fight coming up August 9th in Miami. First fight in the United States of America, televised. All y'all saying 600 can't squabble. God damn it, I put together the fight. I guarantee you it's gonna be a squabble. He training 3 days right now. He getting ready. I think he gonna knock something out third, fourth round. He will not be going down on no knees. He will not be, ain't none of that finna happen. He will be rested, hydrated, and winded. August 9th. To my motherfucking security team out there, the streets, out of North Miami. Mount up, ready to go. Club Castle, I'm lying. That's somebody else's club. We're not gonna promote that yet. Got still a few more things going on. Let's go down here to the chat. Uh-oh. Think I got a super chat, super chat, super chat. Where you go, where you go? I ain't gonna pass you up. Lord Rio, how did Suge lose Death Row? Okay, Suge lost Death Row. For one, you had Lydia Harris that sued him, who at that time was Harrio's wife. He didn't go to court. He said he was too gangster to go to court. He lost that. Then you had the IRS step in and take his catalog. He had already sold 50% of his catalog to Koch. The other half they took, auction off. He lost that. About 04, 05-ish, he lost the name Death Row, and that's when he went to Darrow, D-A-R-O-W. There was no budgets. There was no distro. There was none of that set up for Darrow. He could have had it through Koch, but that was underground back then. He still wanted to be with the majors. He wanted to be with UMG, and if Suge would have just went with Koch, he'd have been light years ahead of everybody on the independent side. Suge was never really the brains of the business. He's just a marketing genius. Nobody can take that from him. He's definitely a marketing genius, but he wasn't the brains of the business. That's a fact. So you send a super chat, you asked a question, I answered it. Did the homies acknowledge Pac for claiming MOB? Nope, the homies politicked to get their bag and apply pressure on Suge so they wouldn't do nothing to Pac hollering what he was hollering out. Probably a few homies fuck with him, but overall, there's some serious dudes over there at that neck of the woods. They're not, they don't really be playing with it like that. Do you see my content at all? No, I don't, DJ D Turno 88. I don't. How come Suge didn't bail himself out with his own money? He was out of money. Why do you think I had to bury his mother? He was out of money. Remember when you knocked out Stitches? Old news, buddy. Me and Stitches are all right these days. Good luck, 100. I'm gonna die sometime this year. Take care. Charles Xavier. Well, Charles, I wish you the best. Maybe you got something going on. Seek Dr. CB, some natural herbs, or do what you could do to fight back, but don't lay down. Who's Death Row gonna sign? Have no idea. Snoop Dogg has other plans, digital, AI, movies. He wants Death Row to be bigger than just music. I got a super chat. Hustle. Speak about Nicki Minaj beefing with SZA. I don't know nothing about Nicki Minaj beefing with SZA. And me knowing SZA, I don't think SZA's gonna beef with Nicki Minaj. I just can't see that happening. Do you think she... Whack, what's good, champ? Shout out to Inglewood Legends. What's up with it? You said Suge gave you his life rights. No, I had the deal before, maybe 2017. Somebody got the recordings. I think Reggie might have had the recordings because he was online with Matt Barnes, supposed to close a deal with Stars. And then he called me and wanted me to get Matt Barnes out the way, claimed he didn't do the contract, and gave me the contract. And then I realized it was 6, 7 other people ahead of me that had the same contract and kind of screwed up business with my business partners because of that. And when Ray J did his thing, I warned him, but then he found out the hard way. Suge just sold his life rights about 10, 12 times. Zero shit. This too much. Then leave. We got 877 people in here. 144, 146 thumbs up. Super chats is up. So hit the subscription button. For those of y'all that just getting in here, let me give you a recap. How did or why did Suge Knight punk Tupac? Why are you saying this, Wack? Because when Tupac fulfilled his contractual obligations of the 3 albums, he told Suge, I'm gonna leave and start my own company. Suge told him, you can't leave. You owe me $4 million. And because you owe me $4 million, you can't leave, but I know what you can do. You could be the face of and run Death Row East. That kept Suge in play, Suge in control, Suge in his pockets, and Pac working for Suge. Here's why he punked Suge Knight. When an artist fulfills his album contract and the label signs off and says, this is a sufficient album, we accept it. Whatever's owed after the fact, you supposed to just make back through the residuals. And then the artist just doesn't make any money as those residuals come in. But because Suge didn't want Pac to grow, he told him, you can't go. Matter of fact, this is what you gonna do. If Pac would have left and started Machiavelli, a thug life, whatever he wanted to do, it's a good chance he would have been at that fight because him and Tyson were friends. But he'd have been sitting in a different section because Suge would have probably called him out his name and did some crazy stuff. And knowing Pac, once he got further enough away and got his team right on the other side, he might have would have dissed him or something. So they'd have been in the same building just away from one another. You take Pac out of Suge's circle, Pac's not there for Orlando. And it never happens to Pac on Las Vegas Boulevard. That's a fact. He punked him. You can't leave because you owe me $4 million. No, Negro, you make that back off the residuals that come in, and I don't get my cut until you make yours back. But you can't force me to stay here because I owe you money because you done did this, and that for me. That ain't how that work in the music industry. Not how that work. It's a lot of people, artists, that has left a label after they fulfilled their contractual obligation and wasn't fully recouped. I've seen people 3, 4 million in a hole leave a label and they can't stop them. We got another super chat down here. Let's see if it came with a question. Who makes rappers paint their nails? Nobody makes rappers paint their nails. The rapper paints their nails. Come on, man. Y'all gotta ask me something real. I'm a big boss, 0969. How are you sure about Tupac leaving Death Row and being in a better situation when I think it wouldn't have mattered when all they had to do and keep him drunk and high to take him out his element? If Tupac would have left Death Row and started his own thing, he wouldn't have been with Death Row the night of the fight. He's not with Death Row the night of the fight. There's a great chance he's not in the car with Suge Knight on Las Vegas Boulevard the night the unaliving happened. That's why. You do think your Biggie and Tupac was still alive, but the rap game would be different. Do you think if Biggie and Tupac were still alive, yeah, I believe Biggie would have been his own boss. I believe that, yeah. All right. That was one of them calls from the legal beagle. I done lost half my people, God damn it. But I see I got another super chat, and I don't cheat my super chats. All right. Pac ain't even here to speak for himself. Nigga, we all know Pac wanted to leave. He ain't got to speak for himself. Right? Most scandalous Los Angeles just dropped a new video, whack prison stories, make believe. Los Angeles, dude don't know nothing about my prison stories. And guess what? Dude, as of July 15th, all AI-driven YouTube channels will not be monetized. So he gonna be the first one to fit it. If you listen, he's the biggest coward of the internet because he won't let nobody see him or hear him, right? So all that AI, if he don't come out with his voice, he won't be paid. That's a fact. But keep my name going. This nigga don't know nothing about my prison stories. Academics never said I was running plays. If you listen to Academics, he said, I'm not talking about whack. That's Adam weird ass mentioned my name. When didn't nobody run plays but Adam, Brick, and the rest of the little freaky deaky crew, whatever they do over there and all that. But we're gonna address that tomorrow, No Jumper. This Sunday, No Jumper gonna be crazy. 12 noon, Adam and Wax Show, tune in. Cause when I get up in there in the next day or so, it's finna be a problem. I'm tripping hard. Tune in, check it out. I'm not laying in the bed, Ginger. See this? This is not a bed. This is my lounge room, see? It's a lounge room. Watch, let me show you. See? See, I got a fireplace. Let me turn on the fireplace for y'all. Let me turn it on real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me turn on the fireplace for y'all. This is not a bed. It's just a big old comfy. This is a living room in my bedroom. See what I'm saying? See, the bedroom right there, this is the living room in my bedroom. See, that's just my TV camera monitor. See, the TV right there. So this is the living room, okay, in my bedroom. I'm not in bed, I'm chilling. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? Look, check it out. See? Turned on the fireplace for you. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? This is not a bed. It's just a big ass, comfortable ass, oversized ass couch. I have a living room in my bedroom. Right, there we go. All right, Ginger? There we go. What we got? You got to press Adam on the Adam and Wax Show to the max. When y'all film tomorrow, bro, I'm going to watch it early like I do every week with the membership. That's love. That's love. You know what? I'm going to make it worth y'all while I'm on this bumper. I know I'm coming tomorrow. Where can I send you some of my gear? Follow R_ANN_B. Follow her, hit her DM. Say, Wax said, holla at you. You got some gear for me. R&B and make sure she direct you with that. Pop could have been anywhere. Pop could have been his own company. He could have went to Universal. He could have went to Sony. He could have went anywhere and got distribution and got a budget. Suge's budget came from Interscope/UMG. You get what I'm saying? He could have went anywhere. You still talk to Takashi? Yeah, he just hit me last week. Why the Hoover's going at Adam 22? Look, man, I told Adam he turned a goddamn No Jumper to a liquor store. Anybody could walk in. He got to chill out, but it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. They going to look up, and we're going to be out the back door, going to somewhere. This is my little feathery little pillow right here, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, since she take up in the bed, I'm not in the bed, lady. Ginger, I don't know what you talking about. You went from me being in the bed to having a loud voice. All right? Yeah, it's my little furry, my little thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, since y'all want to stay up in the bed. This motherfucking couch is big enough to be a bed, right? Do you know about Biggie having a dog pound New York beat? First, have no idea. Uh, go down here. Let's go down here. When will you drop your album? I ain't got no damn album. Hey, OG. What are your thoughts on the P. Diddy verdict? I I guess Puff was gonna get 33 to 60 months. That's what I say. If he get 33 months, he'll be out next year. If he gets 60 months, let's do the math. 60 months, 80%, he'd do like 4 years, 8 months off that. Take 12 months off for the drug class. That's 3 year, 8 months, 6 months. That's like 3 years, 2 months. He'll have what, like a year in credit? So that'll leave him with 20 to do, which will put him in October 26, October 27. That'll put him November, December 2027. That'll put him out. We got another super chat. Dragon Ball Z, Whack 100 Akademiks and TDE Punch are beefing on Twitter right now over the way he covered SZA and Nate. Why who you rocking with, OG? I don't believe that, because me and Akademiks has had an understanding about SZA. So I gotta go in and call and see what the fuck is going on. Act over to leave SZA alone. Maybe he's just talking about whatever's going on between the two women, so we can't stop him from doing that. If he's just talking about whatever's going on between two women, that's just his personal opinion. But I don't think he's disrespecting SZA. I'm gonna look into that. You know, I've been kind of out and about today. Vegas in the house, okay. And you listen to my music. Again, go to the 100 show, go on my bio, click You've Been Exposed, fill it out, it'll go to the queen, and then we'll take it from there. Smirk coming home. Free Smirk. You know what I'm saying? I hope he does. I'm not wrong about the grid program. Y'all keep playing me and my man. Actually, you know what? We're going to set that up for next week. Me and my man Starwood, we're going to take the Bozo Skip Townsend, I think that's his name, and we're going to show you how much line he did. We have the grid program signed contracts, all the clauses in there, all the police cell phones that they give you, the meetings, who you meet with, sergeants, lieutenants, crash units, what you're obligated to do and to report. And Skip even said, we don't get information to the police, but if they ask, then we got to turn it over to them. So, I mean, you know, you do the math. Kendra King, shout out for the super chat. No questions. Why you won't tell 600 his music is trash? What do you mean? You don't like 600 music? Y'all go over to the 600 Spotify, check him out. 600 got bars. You know what I'm saying? He ain't playing with y'all. Why 4Xers get tough with old niggas, but laugh it off when he thought Spotterloke addressed his hood. I don't know nothing about that. Wack, I'm going to send you a copy of us back in the day when we played for the Bears. Single arm. Okay. We played for the Bears, what number was I? Shout out to Mike Mix for the super chat. Single arm, if you played with me for the Bears, what was my number? I'm waiting on you. I don't know what's up with Big U. Last thing I know is they got court in August. I don't know. 600 follows that more than me. Single arm, where you at? Could you repeat about the music you were breaking out? Would you ever live on the East Coast? If so, what city? I have a home on the East Coast now. A big, beautiful home. Are you scared of Adam? I'm not scared of no man. Why would I be scared of Adam? Adam's just a white guy that blogs. That's crazy. Black 100, you know, in Northerners from see white days. Not from the white days. I was there when the first busload came to Nellis. Wasn't no Northangels down south. And when they got off the bus, they got off. So they was out in the whole first 6 months to a year. I don't really It's Trinidad from Arizona, homie. You should come tap in with us. I don't know you, Trinidad. Single arm. We played Pee-wees. You scored on the first play against Chatsworth. Single arm. You ain't telling me what number I was. Single arm. See, you on some BS. If you played with me at the Golden Bears, you would know that. Come on, give me some more questions. Give me some ministry questions. You think Little Meech a rat? Little Meech is dead? Well, Little Meech is civilian to me. Do he do some snitching? Absolutely does. His 3 Luck, I talked to him and he wanted me to set up some interviews. Y'all seen what 3 Luck said, what he put up is right there. Y'all heard Lil Meech telling. I mean, this shit's incredible. Y'all heard it. 6ix9ine stands on this square. Can't call him nothing he ain't called himself. Would you ever take your diaper company public? Absolutely. Looking forward to that. How did you transition from truck driving to your next business? Easy. Come up with a plan, study it, structure it, put a team together, and press play. Jay Prince, 60 years old, bro. Nobody got a duck hole, man. How could I get you some clothing? Hit R_ANN_B. Tell her you got some gear for whack, and she gonna instruct you what to do. Why you gotta act talking crazy about gangbangers? Bro, T-Rail punked the game. Let's be real, bro. T-Rail went on his channel, talk crazy about Act. I get into it with him because I'm the nigga Act can go where he want to go. T-Rail talking crazy about Act. Act ain't this. You was in front of me, I'll do this. When we catch you, this. He go to Turks and Caicos with his wife, Act out there at the same club. See, Act had to use Act to get in the club. Act like bossing up on him. Had to get the man in the club and then offered him a drink. That ain't even the worst of it. He say, yo, what? I text him, I said, bro, just chill out, play it by ear. He said, yo, Wack, your man asking me, could he go on my yacht? I said, go ahead on and do that for me, bro. Break the ice. As you see, he's on Axe yacht. T-Rail did, it's nothing anybody can say. Nephew AD, he ain't gonna speak on it. He gonna tell you, I don't know what's going on. I wasn't even there. They on the phone with AD telling AD, you gotta pick a side. You gotta pick a side. Pun, if Pun keep it real, he gotta tell T-Real that was some bust ass shit you did. Pun, you gotta keep it real. You gotta tell him that was some bust ass shit you did. You did too much woofing. You ran into him. Not only did you bow down, you submitted and became, you got the effort, but my table is my table. So we ain't coast tripping with the podcast thing, right? He did that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing but 9 o'clock. I'm not going to bed. I still got to get my woman a massage. Go down here and drink me some lemon water with some aloe vera in it. Watch a movie. Come up with my plan for tomorrow. We got a long day tomorrow. All right? You were Jersey backwards showing your name. You were, I don't know what the hell you talking about. Do you think Lil Durk gonna beat his case? I haven't been following Lil Durk's case. I hope he beat it. Last I knew, they kind of like dropped some charges or dismissed some charges. I don't know. I hope he beat it though. Free Durk. Definitely offended when they said the S word. 607, no, he got to face the fire for saying that. I told him that. My homie Third was going to fill in the gap. They the same, speed with height and all that. And run that fade with Third and I'll holler at you. 10 in, it can't happen. Houston, exactly. Definitely. And we buying some property in Houston right now. or a little outside of Houston, about 20, 30 acres. Man, don't know one man stop nothing, bro. Listen, Jay Prince is 60 years old. That nigga don't want to be laid up in no hospital, and that nigga don't want to be doing life in the penitentiary. That's all a war brings. Is somebody going to jail, somebody getting shot, unalive, somebody gonna be handicapped, all that, bro. Y'all be throwing that man names. Man, let that man live the rest of his days prosperous and do what he do. Shout out to Blue Moon, Alex Disson, Blue Moon, Dylan, Malik, and the whole family down there. Family, that's love. Why the West Coast don't give Sebo his flowers? I fuck with Sebo. I did time off Sebo music when I was in prison. I discovered Sebo when I was in prison, music by mail, catalog. Sebo's, he's one of our West Coast underground, underground artists. He's a regional artist, but Sebo hard. Shout out to Sebo, Realist. I believe they got a song out right now. Y'all go check it out. Since when did LA gangbangers give a fuck about civilians? Stop lying to these people. What you talking about? Are you okay, King D? You slow? Niggas, mamas and daddies and little brothers and sisters and relatives and aunts and uncles and grandmas and granddads and civilians. You okay? You hitting old folks home soon. Nah, I'm gonna build myself a big enough empire. I have my own little spot, my own little nurses. Pop, I can smack that ass and, eat my bananas. You know what I'm saying? These days you can keep you some good old teeth in your mouth. They don't cost nothing. Shit, you go to Colombia, you get a whole set for 7,000. Go to Rodeo, cost you 80,000, depending on what you want to spend. Everybody's saying you're the feds. Man, listen, when you're dealing with somebody that they just can't deal with, they'll say all kinds of things, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ex-convict felon. If that doesn't answer that question for you, I don't know what to say. Bronx in the building. What you think about Big U? What you mean what I think about Big U? Why you keep asking me some dumbass questions? Blood, have you been doing your stuff? Oh, Blood, you been. Shout out to Traffic the Maker. Shout out Love. Van Nuys, California. Valley in the house, 818. But I don't like the court building. But shout out to Van Nuys. Damn, Uncle, the gray is heavy. Yup, tonight I'm going to hit it with that Just For Me in dark brown. So when y'all see me Sunday on No Jumper, I'll be all the way right. But the queen, she likes the salt and pepper. So 2 weeks out of the month, I give her the salt and pepper. The other 2 weeks, won't. Just For Me in dark brown. Any other questions? Shout out from Australia. No other questions. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, 4 times. We've been in here 54 minutes. 6, okay, hold on. Oh, man, I thought you was going to ask me something. Listen, it's 9 o'clock. That's my curfew for YouTube, set by the queen, R&B herself. Go follow her on YouTube, R_ANN_B. Follow _ The 100 Show. Follow this channel, thumbs up. Follow this channel, thumbs up. Subscribe to The 100 Show YouTube channel. And check me out on the 100 side of Clubhouse, right? Those of you upcoming YouTubers, bloggers, rappers, you want to be exposed by old Whack and Flacco, get a little shine, put your links and your interviews on our channels, on our pages. Go to the 100 Show IG page, go to the bio, click the link up top, fill it out, and it'll go to the queen and we'll get you scheduled. This is another one like the other one. Until next time, peace. I'm out.